You're listening to Rise, a Christian birth podcast for encouragement, education, and biblical truth for birth without fear. I'm your host, Manna, childbirth educator, doula, and mom of three, here to help you rise above fear and prepare for a faith-filled birth. Welcome back. Today's episode is for the mom who feels a little bit alone in her decision to pursue a natural birth. So maybe all of your friends had epidurals or inductions or C-sections. Maybe the loudest voices in your life, like your mom, your grandma, your aunt, your coworkers, just don't understand why you would be planning to give birth unmedicated. They just don't get it. And if we're honest, the constant questioning might be starting to kind of wear down on you. If that is where you are, this episode is just for you. And before we even really start, I want to just speak over you right now, just so we're very clear from the very beginning. You are not weird, you're not naive, you're not reckless. You don't need a whole crowd of cheerleaders to make your birth powerful, intentional, and faith-filled. Let's get into it. I hear so often from moms in your shoes that you just feel like the odd one out. Pregnancy conversations tend to start the same way. It's when's your due date? Is it a boy or a girl? Where are you going to be delivering? But then the moment that you mention that you're planning on skipping the epidural or avoiding pain medications, the tone kind of shifts. So suddenly it's like, wait, what? I could never do that. Why wouldn't you get the epidural? Or you don't have to prove anything. Or my least favorite is some kind of just wait. So like, oh, just wait until you get those first few contractions, or just wait until you're gripping your seat, or just wait until you're white knuckling your bed rail, just trying to get through the first couple hours. And it's just such a dismal way to look at it. It's so negative. So if you've ever felt that awkward pause or seen those raised eyebrows, you are in the right place. Another thing that I'm hearing often from moms who are planning unmedicated births is that you're exhausted from having to constantly justify yourself or defend yourself. You're tired of explaining why you don't want the epidural, why you don't want an elective induction, why you don't feel peace about scheduling something if your body's not ready for it. And after enough of those conversations, you just start wondering, am I being too idealistic? Am I setting myself up for disappointment? Am I being unrealistic since I'm a first-time mom, or since my last birth went so differently? And those questions usually come from a place of discouragement, not clarity. And the hardest part might be that you really wish the people in your life were cheering for you. These are supposed to be the people who are kind of cheering you on and encouraging you and supporting you. And you just wish that someone close to you was saying like, yes, I believe in you. I'm praying for you. You can do this. And instead you're hearing these voices that are sort of fear-based or dismissive, or just rooted in their experience, whatever they've gone through, and their biases, and they're filtering everything through that and not thinking about your experience and what your goals are. If any of that resonates, you're definitely not alone. So let's talk about 4 things to remember if you are the only one in your circles that's planning a natural birth. Number 1, you don't need everyone's approval. So let's just start there. Your birth goals do not require everyone around you to agree with them or to approve of them. It's lovely when people in your life support you. It's wonderful when they understand your heart behind wanting a physiological birth, but that's not required. Sometimes their questions come from love, sometimes from fear, sometimes from their own unresolved birth experiences or trauma maybe, but none of those things get to determine what God is leading you to do. A common mistake moms make is trying to convince people who simply aren't open to understanding, and that just drains you. It steals your peace, and it rarely changes their mind. God didn't ask your entire extended family to steward your pregnancy. He asked you. He asked you and your husband to make the decisions that he's leading you to make, and if you're stewarding your pregnancy well and trying to learn as much as you can, and this is where you've been led and that's your goal, that has nothing to do with all of them. Other people get to steward their own decisions. You have to steward yours, and their approval is not a prerequisite for your obedience and your wisdom and your peace. Number 2, confidence does not come from consensus. So I know it's tempting to think if everyone agreed with me and supported me, I would feel so much more confident, or this would be so much easier. But that's not necessarily true. It would be false confidence because it's built on the approval of others, not on the strength of your own preparation and prayer and conviction. So, real confidence is going to come from educating yourself. It's going to come from praying through your decisions. It's going to come from preparing your mind and your body. And it's going to come from aligning your choices with those values. It's not going to come from everyone around you clapping. And the opposite is also true. So if people around you don't understand or support you, that shouldn't shake your confidence either. Their unfamiliarity with natural birth does not mean that your decision is unwise. When your confidence is rooted in the Lord and in the preparation that He's leading you to, that confidence is going to stay steady regardless of public opinion. Number 3, it's okay to limit what you share with people. I want to give you permission, though you really don't need my permission either, to share less. So you don't need to discuss your birth plan at every gathering, in every group text, or with every well-meaning stranger in the grocery store. I remember one time I was in like a sporting goods store and I was very pregnant, like very obviously pregnant, and a random woman, super kind, super friendly, probably coming from a very good place, stopped me and was just telling me all this advice for giving birth. And none of it was stuff that I necessarily disagreed with, but I'm not under any compulsion to share with her what I'm planning or what my goals are. And if it's going to protect your peace of mind to keep those things to yourself and not necessarily invite anybody to be challenging what your goals are, then that's worth keeping those things to yourself. You can absolutely keep your plans private unless you're talking to, your provider, your doula, or people who will speak life into your vision. Oversharing with people who are dismissive or fearful or skeptical will almost always leave you feeling more discouraged than supported. So protecting your peace is a real part of preparation because your mental state affects your physiology. We know this. Your sense of safety affects literally your labor hormones. That impacts your labor, that impacts your birth. So your emotional environment matters. Limiting certain conversations could be considered a form of stewardship. I really think it is. If you know that somebody is not going to understand, you don't have to convince them. If they ask, you can share what you want and only what you want. Number 4, you're not as alone as you might think. So even if no one in your immediate circle is planning a natural birth, you are not alone. There are thousands of women making similar choices right now. You might just not be connected to them yet. So you could try to expand your circle on purpose. You can look for local natural birth communities. You can find a doula who shares your values. You can take a birth class that aligns with your goals and will teach you how to accomplish those goals. You can watch positive natural birth stories. You can join a due date group that's more supportive. Follow social accounts that normalize the kind of birth that you're going for so it doesn't feel quite as out there and crazy to be trying to do it that way. I can tell you from experience, most of the women who come to me for support are planning unmedicated births. So they are out there. You just might not be in spaces where you are hearing those stories yet. And I also want to offer a little perspective on why people react the way that they do. Birth really changes people. Like it shakes you to your core, whether it goes perfectly, like whether everything is just absolutely amazing and goes the way that you wanted it to, or whether it brings trauma or fear. It is like a life-changing event. Most women have never had the chance to fully process their birth stories, which is so sad that that's kind of the reality here. But I would say most women have not ever really gotten to completely unload everything that happened to them, everything that they went through, all the feelings that they had and what it was like. So when you bring up birth, their experience spills out. It's like hard to even hold it back. So their warnings, a lot of times I really think aren't about you. They're about what they went through. They're just trying to still process it and understand it. And I think sometimes if they had a hard experience, they're almost trying to warn you. So they're trying to be a girl's girl. They're trying to say like, oh, I want to save you from this experience that happened to me. They're not trying necessarily to just be like super negative and make you scared or whatever. Sometimes I think they're trying to help. If somebody says, oh, girl, you'll be begging for the epidural, what they're really saying is, I was begging for the epidural. I was overwhelmed. I was scared. Their story is not your story. Okay? You can listen with compassion without internalizing it, and you can know that it's not about you, and you can say, thank you for sharing, and leave it there. So practical steps to stay encouraged. 1, you already know, pray for discernment. Ask the Holy Spirit to guide your conversations, help you know what to share, steady your heart when other voices feel loud. Ask for God's peace, that peace that transcends all understanding. Ask Him to grant you that so that you can not worry about all these other voices. Number 2 is write down your why. So why do you want a natural birth? How is God leading you? What has He shown you? What are the things and circumstances that have led you to believe that this is the right decision for your family? And then you can return to that when discouragement creeps in. Number 3, seek supportive voices on purpose. Be intentional about it. Follow the accounts, read the books, join groups, connect with a doula who understands your vision. Do all the things so that you have people who are in your corner, who know what you want, and who are like, yes, let's do it. You can do it. 4, set simple boundaries. Practice responses like, thank you for your input, smile, move on. We're making the choices that feel right for our family. I'm confident in our plan. I'd rather not discuss it right now, or simply, oh, okay, thanks. And then you change the subject. Doesn't have to be long or drawn out. Just, okay, thanks, move on. You don't owe anybody an explanation. You truly don't need everyone's approval to walk forward in peace. You don't need a stadium full of cheerleaders. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. So even if you do all this stuff and you're planning this natural birth and then things do go differently than you're hoping, it doesn't mean that you failed or let anybody down or that everybody was right. It's your birth. It's your story. It's how God is leading you. It's what He wants to teach you through your experience. It's how He wants to draw you closer to Himself. And that's you. What you need is confidence rooted in God's character, clarity about your own values, and a few voices who genuinely get it. And that's it. And if that is what you're looking for, my hope is that you felt a little bit of that encouragement today listening to this. I do have a free ebook that's just 10 steps to natural birth. I will make sure to link that in the show notes as well if you want to explore further and dive a little deeper. Thanks for listening. Follow the podcast so you know when there's a new episode up, and I will see you next time.